welcome to Sports Update with Kate. I am your host, Kate Adams, and I've got a special guest, Brandon Taylor. He's a former safety for the LSU Tigers, also wore the number 18, which is really special at LSU, and played for the then San Diego Chargers, now LA Chargers. So welcome, Brandon. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on again.
He's on the show.
I'm glad to have you back. You were on the show a few weeks ago, so glad to have you back as a guest. So you were a big part of LSU recruiting, or at least you were a broadcaster for it, because you're now kind of transitioning into broadcasting a little bit, and you guys covered a lot of LSU recruiting. So I just want you to kind of tell me about some of the standout guys that you see in this new recruiting class.
One is, for me, is Derek Stingley, big kid out of Dunham High School down here in Louisiana, cornerback, #1 rated recruit in the country. It was good for us because we kept a #1 recruit in the state of Louisiana from going to Alabama. We kept him here home from a bunch of schools that wanted him heavily. And to have that, you make him stay home, that keeps other recruits, other big-time recruits from Louisiana to stay home. And he helped recruit a lot of other players, too.
What do you think the key is when you've got big-time guys like that, getting them to stay here? Like, what does Coach O need to do to convince them? Or you know, I know you said him staying here kind of helped make the decision for other players to stay here, but in your mind, when you were getting recruited, what was kind of that key to you saying, you know what, I think I'm gonna stay right here?
Oh, of course, you got to recruit the parents first, because those are the people who make the last decision in your recruiting process. And my parents fell in love with then Coach Miles when he was recruiting me out of high school. And once Mama said it was a wrap, it was a wrap. So my recruiting process ended kind of early. I committed as a junior, but with Derek Stingley, his daddy, he loves LSU. He loves Coach Corey Raymond, and Corey Raymond is the only person that he trusts with his son's football career.
Well, there was a standout guy from Amit, Ishmael Shropshire, and I think I probably just butchered his name, but I'll repeat it in a little while. But what about him? Now, he did not choose LSU. LSU was on the table to possibly be chosen, but he didn't choose LSU. He decided to go with the good old Crimson Tide. How much did that hurt us? Because we really needed a guy like him, I know, and that kind of would have sealed our deal to make us an even more successful recruiting class. How much did that hurt LSU?
I mean, not getting their player kind of hurts us, but not getting their player also motivates the players that we have. The D lineman that we currently have and the D lineman that we recruited and signed, because now they're looking at it like, okay, that's a spit in the face. Like, you're going to go sign with another team from another state. Also our rival, basically. And so that's going to motivate the guys that we have here. But I know a lot of those kids from A-Meet because I grew up 20 miles from A-Meet, being from Franklinton, Louisiana. So they got a good pool of good athletes, and it's a big recruiting ground right now. Being that Alabama comes to A-Meet every year to recruit, and so does LSU. So it's a big competition between that school.
Well, I know one of the things that Coach O wanted to do, he wanted to get some balance on both sides of the field, both offensively and especially defensively. He kind of thought when we did get shut out by Bama earlier this season, he knew that one of the reasons we got shut out was, guess what? We're really just not, our players aren't as talented or as great. Some of them are, but Alabama has a complete defense and a complete offense, both sides of the ball covered. Do you feel like Coach O was able to do that with this year's recruiting class?
Oh, yes, I did. He went all across the board with recruiting, and also he went to Michigan and got players. So he's recruiting hard. He's going everywhere recruiting, trying to find the best fit players for each position. And he's not just limiting himself in a certain range or area. He's going out all across the country. And you see, he got a D-tackle from Utah, and that just shows a lot when your coach is willing to go out there and hunt those players down and try and bring them to the LSU.
What about Cardell Thomas? I want to talk about him. Have you watched any of his film or seen anything on that guy?
Oh, yes. A real athletic player, hungry, wants to be great, and he isn't scared of anybody, I promise you that. He made a promise to the fans that he will beat Alabama, and I like that in the player, but at the end of the day, talking doesn't win games. A lot of teams seen that, a lot of teams said that. So I hope he's putting in the same work and effort to try and beat Alabama and the other teams, run the whole schedule. Don't just focus on one team, putting in the work and effort to do that instead of just talking about it, which I know he is, being with the group that he's with.
So what do you think that they need to do in spring training, or do you see some guys that are going to be real leaders on the team to kind of help these younger players that are coming on?
Oh, yes. You got a good core group of leaders there. That's what you see now with these LSU teams currently than you did post-2012, because you had a lot of guys, veteran guys, leaving early. Now you have more guys staying and wanting to be champions and building that core group of leadership. And those younger guys, they feed off of that. So right now, these coaches have to break these younger guys down in order to build them up. And these older guys have to help build these young guys up too.
I think this is an obvious question, but I'll just go ahead and ask it. Do those younger players really respect what the older guys are telling them?
Oh, yes, indeed. You have to, or they will make you. Like, it's that type of situation. Like, you have to humble yourself, come in humble, and you'll leave humble. And you'll be a part of the team, because you got to think, it's young men. We have our certain ways of, if you don't get in and buy in with the group, like, you got ways of outcasting people, like, won't let you eat with us. It's not going to be a friendly environment for you. So we got to keep it as like a team environment and just buy in, because we're all trying to reach one goal. There's no individual goal.
No, I agree. I didn't know that. So that people will say, no, you can't sit with us. It's that type of thing if you're not going to respect the players.
It goes with the flow. It's part of, like, because it's a group, it's a brotherhood. It's like, you don't want to be a part of the brotherhood. What's the reason for being here? Like, we have one team goal. Your one individual mindset is not going to ruin everything for everybody else.
Okay, that makes sense. I want to talk about another guy from a meet. Devonte Lee, can you tell me a little bit about him?
An animal. Basically, I watched this kid since Little League, when he played Pop Warner, because they played against my little cousins growing up, all out through Little League football, middle school, high school, and now he's going to be at LSU. Like, this was one of the key recruits to keep into the state, and Coach O, they hunted him down like a dog. Like, they went and got him. They kept him here. They recruited his parents. His mother loves LSU. He's hungry. Like, he literally comes from nothing. So he's a hungry kid, and that's the type of energy you want. That's the type of energy you want from a young guy coming in, just ready to ball and play. And I think that he'll see a lot of playing time coming in.
Do you think he's one of those guys that maybe kind of helped sway some other guys' decisions once he's signed?
Oh, yes, indeed, because you got to think, he played against guys all throughout the state. Won a state championship in high school. So we have other recruits from those schools that played against him. So being that they played against him and seeing how good he was and how dominant he was, why wouldn't they want to come and join him in college and play with him at LSU?
Makes sense to me. Okay, I want to go through a few more of these other players. Desmond Little, he's actually from my hometown, Mobile, Alabama, from Viger, which is a public school in Mobile. They've always got a good football team. Do you know anything about Desmond Little, seen him play or anything?
Oh, yeah, dual threat quarterback, which we need in the SEC. Big guy, can throw on the run. And this was one of our highlight guys coming in on the early signing day. Me and Jacob Hester talked about him a lot. Jacob was all smiles when his name popped up and he said that he was coming to LSU. It just adds another key weapon to the offense. He can spread the defense out, can read the defense, and most teams you see winning national championships now have a dual threat quarterback, a guy that can run, get outside the pocket, and throw the ball down the field while under duress.
Do you consider, while we're talking about quarterbacks, Joe Burrow to be a dual threat quarterback?
Oh, yes, indeed. This man literally took over the Texas A&M game, which I think we got cheated in. A lot of Saints fans can say that too, but
we definitely got cheated that game.
He came up short, but he single-handedly took over the game, and that's why we brought him here to LSU, because of that type of energy he brought in that game. We just need him to do it throughout the entire season, which I know that he can, being that we're rebuilding this offensive line for him.
So we've got some other guys that'll be competing at the quarterback position. Do you see Joe Burrow being the starter again next year?
Oh, yes, indeed. He hasn't showed any reason that he shouldn't be, which I do think the coaches should still keep it as like an open competition, just to let him know that, hey, nothing is given to you. You have to earn it all, and you have to earn it every day.
But they'll still keep us all questioning, wondering, I say, that who will actually get that starting quarterback position, right?
Oh, yes, indeed. They got to.
Yeah, they have to, right? Keep everybody questioning. I want to talk a little bit more about Desmond Little. He's coming from Alabama. What does it do when you've got a guy that's now coming from Alabama to Louisiana for LSU? Does that help? Any other guys are saying, hey, he could have gone to Bama probably because he's a Bama guy, but he chose to come to LSU. Does that make any guys feel any type of way, or what are your feelings about coming from state since there's such a rivalry between the two?
I mean, I think that him being from Alabama, he sees the big picture, what LSU is trying to build, what they're trying to accomplish. And being that he's coming from his home state, Alabama, which the main team in his state has won multiple national championships in the past 10 years, 12 years, he sees the big picture and he knows that he wants to be a part of something great and that LSU is building something great. So that's good for us, and that will sway more players from the state of Alabama and states surrounding Alabama to come to LSU.
Well, let's hope so, because if you live in the state of Alabama, let me tell you, I grew up there, lived there for 18 years. You're either an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan, and there's usually no in between. And everybody used to always ask me, which fan are you? And I would be like, go Tigers. You know, I'm an LSU fan, and I was basically outcasted because of that. So that's why I stay here in Louisiana, because I can't go back to Bama. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, we do need to take a quick break. We are here at Scoreboards. The address is 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It's right off the interstate off Coursey and Airline, so it's really, really easy to get to. And this is a great place to come and eat, watch the games. They've got daily specials. They've got boiled seafood, some Alfredo, I think that they do on Tuesdays. They've even got a Salisbury steak, which I really love. I think it comes with some mashed potatoes and gravy. You can never go wrong with anything that's got gravy on it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Also, with their boiled seafood, I'm sure that comes with some melted butter. Also, can never go wrong with anything that has butter on it. So look, this is the place to come to watch all the games. The TV literally in every single corner. We do need to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
Your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that...
Yep. I programmed the airport in, just in case.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Hey guys, it's Debbie Traylor of Debbie's Bridal. I'm back. We're bringing Debbie's to you. Prom, pageant, Mardi Gras, and formals. One time only this weekend in Gonzales, February 16th and 17th at the La Quinta Inn on South Cabela's Parkway. Standing room only. Check our website, debbiesbridal.net, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Or call Debbie's Bridal for more information.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome back, Sports Update with Kate. I am your host, Kate Adams. We've got Brandon Taylor. He is a former LSU Tiger, a former number 18 at LSU, which is a very special number to wear at LSU, and also played safety for the San Diego Chargers. All right, one thing that we need to clear up from the earlier segment. So Desmond Little actually is not a quarterback. There's a lot of recruits, so bear with us if we kind of get a few things misinterpreted here and there. So actually Peter Parrish is the quarterback we wanted to talk about, and that's what we actually meant before. We were just testing all of you guys to make sure that you guys knew back at home. So let's talk about Peter Parrish a little bit more. He said he was a dual threat. He is out of Central Phoenix City, Alabama. I don't know why it says Phoenix City, but tell me a little bit more about Peter Parrish.
Great guy, dual threat quarterback, can run, pass, actually a strong guy, actually. Won a state championship. He also actually beat Tua's younger brother in the state championship in Alabama. So that lets you know the type of guy that he is. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He has to drive, and he wants to always compete. And he's going to be a great guy here at LSU.
All right, let's talk about what happens in the recruiting process. Can you kind of lay it out for me how it starts? Like, what's the beginning? Does the coach come and visit your house? Do they call you? I mean, how do the process even start?
First, the process starts with most kids go to camps, and if the coaches and teams have interest in you, they send letters first, and then they get into contact with your high school coach, and it starts from there. And then it's certain times with the NCAA, it's tricky because they can't call you in certain times due to NCAA violations. So when that time comes, they can call the house, call your parents, call you, get into contact with you, set up recruiting visits, bring you to games, and all that type of stuff. See what type of interest you have in their school, and they want to know what other type of school, other schools are trying to compete to recruit you to get you to come to their school. So it's a crazy process. It's a lot to take in, but as a young guy, you need to take all your visits, all your official visits, because you only get to do it once in your life, so just take advantage of the opportunity. And
it's also an excuse to just kind of get to travel around and get to see new places, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not interested?
I went to UCLA. That was my first time ever leaving the state of Louisiana, and I got to go to Beverly Hills to see UCLA campus. So what 17-year-old gets to say they can do that just from being recruited for football?
Exactly. So when you went to UCLA, did that have any impact on why you played for the San Diego Chargers? I mean, you got to eventually end up being in California.
Yeah, but nah, those people they uppity. I'm from the country, so I need to stay down here. But going to San Diego was a good experience, which I got to go there with former LSU 18, Jacob Hester. So he made it feel like home to me.
Talk about getting to play with the guy who's also from LSU, you two LSU guys kind of being there together.
Oh, it was a great experience, man. He just took me under his wing, showed me the routes and the ropes, and just let me know the process of coming from being a collegiate player to being a pro NFL player and learning how to carry yourself, and letting me know that, hey, it's basically a job. You're being evaluated every day, every second of the day. You got a scout watching you work out, practice in the film room. So you're being evaluated, and these people investing money in you, so you better take it very seriously.
And you guys are both number 18. So does that mean anything to NFL teams being a number 18 from LSU?
Oh, it means a lot, because those teams know that you've been a leader in college, knowing that the transition to the NFL is going to be a lot easier for you because you're more of a mature player, and you know how to be a leader, and you know how to put distractions to the side and focus on the task at hand.
Do you, while we're talking about number 18, see any guy that you might pinpoint to be next year's number 18?
I talked to Jack Marucci, Jacob Hester, and Greg Stringfellow. That's the equipment manager at LSU. We had a side conversation. We got a couple of guys in mind, but they told me that I cannot talk about it, so
okay.
We're trying to keep that a secret, but I promise you, you will not be disappointed in the person that we choose.
Well, Fausto Mora was this past year's number 18. I actually got to see and interview him at the Senior Bowl earlier this year. And what do you really see from Foster? What do you see for his future?
I see a person that's going into the draft very underrated. Like, Foster Moreau can be an elite tight end in the NFL with his size, his ability, his attitude, and his want to. Like, I think that a team is going to get a steal on him, and I just hope that he gets around the right core group of guys that teaches him how to be the pro like I was taught, which I know that he can carry himself without leadership because he's a leader himself. So I just feel that he's going to be he's going to play a long time in the NFL with his ability.
Well, he made a really big impact, I think, while he was at the Senior Bowl, getting various awards and that sort of thing. But do you see him going in a certain round, or what round do you predict him to go in?
I could probably see him being from fourth to sixth round draft pick, being with the type of players that teams like. These teams like smaller, faster guys, which Foster is a bigger tight end, which he can still run. It just all depends on what team values him at that tight end position and what's their need and what they have him slotted at. The draft is tricky because you never know where you're gonna go. The agent can tell you anything, but he doesn't know. Only the teams know.
Well, sometimes it doesn't even really matter where you go in the draft, right? Because I mean, Tom Brady, I think, what was he, 199th pick or something like that?
He's like the pinnacle of all NFL players.
Exactly, and now he's got 6 Super Bowl rings, so he's not hurting too bad, even though I feel like, Saints should have still been there. We still got robbed, but we'll talk about that in a little bit because I don't think any of us Louisianians are going to get over the fact that we got robbed because we just did, and that's the way it is. So I did see on social media the other day that Devin White gifted his mom with a brand new Mercedes. I want to know how he was able to do that this soon. Does he already have money that he's received? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, with a lot of agents, you get an allowance, which some agents you have to pay it back and some of them you don't, which a lot of people don't know that going into the draft while you're doing the combine, pre-combine, you get card signing deals. Like you might get $2 a card. You might sign 20,000 cards. So that's $40,000 cash that you get. No agents, nothing. So you're branded. You're a brand. Your name is a brand. So before the draft, you have to go to these events, sign cards, do all this type of stuff. Which I remember being up late at night signing like 12,000 signatures, like just signing, hand cramping up. But I knew that, hey, if I want to get some money before the draft and not be asking for an agent knowing I have to pay it back, that I need to sign these cards and get this cash.
Well, so did you go out and buy a brand new car? Or get one? Or
I mean, I didn't get a vehicle until after the draft when I knew it was for sure that I was getting paid. But pre-draft, I was just focused on trying to be the best player that I could be and present myself as that.
How important, talking about pre-draft, is the NFL Combine and really showing your skill set while you're there?
It'll make you or break you because you can be, they had me slotted as like a 5th, 6th round draft pick. I went to the Combine, and after the Combine, I was rated as a number 3 safety in the country. I was actually drafted as number 3 safety in the country in the 3rd round. So I jumped up two rounds, and when you're talking about that, you're talking about a good grip of money and playing time and being slotted as just a special teams player to being a potential starter for a team.
What goes into preparing for the NFL Combine? Because I think that Foster, I was talking to some of these guys while they were at the Senior Bowl. I think he said he was training in New Jersey, and some other people are training in Atlanta and Florida and all these different places. How do they decide where they're going to train to prepare for the NFL Combine?
I mean, it's tricky because this is where the Combine is the span of 3 days. These are probably the most important 3 days of your life. So where you choose to train is a big decision. Where I chose to train, I trained in Boca Raton, Florida, because I wanted to be ahead of the time zone that Indianapolis is in, because I wanted to be able to wake up earlier, go to meetings, go to training, all this stuff, which if you're on the West Coast, you still throw it off with the time zone. So I was kind of nitpicking it like to the T, and while I trained that, it was perfect because I was around a good group of guys that have been playing in the NFL for multiple years, so I learned from them mentally and physically.
So who, I guess, are the people that are kind of helping you make these decisions? Who's the person who's like, you should go train in Boca Raton, and this is who your trainer is going to be, and this is how the process is going to work?
I mean, you get calls from training facilities. Like, it's like a recruiting process all over again in the NFL. Like, these people want you at their facilities because they know that you can go in certain rounds, and they want to help you present yourself. And also your agent, he's going to lay it out, which people need to understand. Your agent works for you. You don't work for your agent. So my agent couldn't tell me to go anywhere. It was where I wanted to go. So I got the last say on everything, which I decided to go to Miami because I didn't want to be on the West Coast training and then have to fly all the way to Indianapolis and be messed up, be thrown back 2 hours of everything because you have to be up at 4 in the morning every day for the combine. And I did not want to be thrown off with the time zone change.
Yeah, waking up at 4 a.m. is definitely not fun. I'm actually used to it right now because there's a morning show that I do that I've got to wake up extra early for. So I definitely understand the struggle is real. Going about getting an agent, do you have agents that come to you? Do you have a list of agents that you're like, oh, I actually really want this guy because he represents this guy, and that guy? I mean, how do you go about getting an agent?
That's where LSU comes in because LSU has a great process. They bring agents in that they're comfortable with, that they know former players they have dealt with and know that the agents are working with former LSU players. So you got that kind of like of a bond. Like you see them around, you see them at games, and the process is like Jack Marucci, he's big with this. He'll set it up actually at the baseball stadium. And he'll just have all the agents there. He'll invite the players and your parents so the agents can have a sit-down meeting with you. They have to be organized, lay down the rules, let you know, present themselves, what they can do for you, which they all can do the same exact thing. One can't do more and one can't do less, so they all limited with what they can do for you. But LSU has a great process in helping players pick their agents.
Have you seen that, I think there's a State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers and his State Farm agent and then his agent for football? Is that a real, is that really how agents are? His crazy agent that's like, just on that commercial, I know, you know what I'm talking about. Are they really like that high strung and everything?
Your agent goes from a person that you've never met before in your life to a person that you talk to every day, probably 3 times a day. Before you go to sleep, when you wake up, and before you go to practice or anything, do anything. Because that's like, he's really like your lifeline between you and the organization because he's in the meetings with all the big dogs, the general managers, the owners of the teams, the head coaches and all that. He's their main contact to you. Like my agent, I talk to him every day. I still talk to him, even though I'm retired from football. So you just gotta pick a person that suits you.
So luckily you had a good agent that you had a great relationship with, but does it happen to where you end up maybe getting a negative relationship with your agent? Maybe you and your agent aren't on the same page. Does that happen?
I mean, I can walk down the street and bump heads with somebody. So a person that I'm talking to every day, we're gonna have a little bit of a back and forth, which you just have to keep a mutual respect and let him know that he's trying to do a job to help brand you and benefit you, but in the same sense, he has to respect you as a man, and you have to respect him as a man or a woman, and you got to meet in the middle with him because, I mean, you're both trying to do your job.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, we do need to take a short break. We are here at Scoreboards. The address is 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It is right off Coursey and Airline, right off the interstate, so very easy to get to. They've got great daily specials, so you got to come here, get some of the specials, because one of them is fettuccine alfredo. They've got a Salisbury steak. They also boil snow crab legs, and they boil it in Cajun seasoning, so you get that spicy Cajun seasoning with the snow crabs. It's really, really yummy, and they've got one of the best bread puddings I've ever had, so you definitely got to come out, try the bread pudding, try the snow crabs, try all of it, because they've got a ton of things on their menu that are really, really tasty. And look, a TV in every single corner, so this is definitely the spot to come out and watch all of your sports games. There's a lot of sports going on right now here in the spring, so this is the place. Come watch your baseball, your gymnastics, your basketball, any of it. This is the place to be, right here at Scoreboards. I'm going to give you that address one more time. It is 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come out and see us. We do need to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
guys, it's Debbie Traylor of Debbie's Bridal. I'm back. We're bringing Debbie's to you. Prom, pageant, Mardi Gras, and formals. One time only this weekend in Gonzales, February 16th and 17th at the La Quinta Inn on South Cabela's Parkway. Standing room only. Check our website, debbiesbridal.net, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Or call Debbie's Bridal for more information.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Shout out to the rooftops. Blow your speakers.
Taste the feeling.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Told you.
Look, your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that...
Yep. I programmed the airport in, just in case.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Welcome back to Sports Update with Kate. I am your host, Kate Adams. We've got Brandon Taylor with us. He's a former LSU Tiger, wore the number 18 for the Tigers and played safety. You won some championships with the Tiger as well? Tigers?
Lost national championship, but won the SEC championship in 2011.
Okay, good. Lost the 2011 national championship. That was a sad, sad day. Sad day for the Tigers. All right, while we are talking about the Tigers, let's talk about John Emery. He signed with LSU. He's a big recruit that we got, a running back. What have you seen from him, and what can we expect to see from him?
That's probably one of the biggest guys coming out of the state at running back, other than since Leonard Fournette. Like, he's probably top 2 recruit in the country. One of the guys we wanted to keep home. I think Coach Orgeron did a great job of recruiting him because we actually flipped him from Georgia. He was committed to Georgia, and after we beat Georgia, he decommitted from them, and we started recruiting him again hard, and then we got him to commit to LSU, and that eventually signed to LSU.
What does something like that, flipping from being a verbal commit at Georgia, then coming to LSU, what does something do like that for LSU's program?
I mean, that does a lot because that shows our state that, and it shows our coaches and players that we have to win those big games in order to keep those guys home and to get players to flip and to choose LSU over another school. And also that shows our recruiting staff that it's possible to get a guy that's locked in to another school, to get him to flip and come to LSU. You just got to go and do the proper way to do it and go win the games, and those guys will want to come here.
I mean, that Georgia win was incredible. That's when the fans stormed the field. I actually had never experienced that. Did the fans ever storm the field when you played at LSU?
Oh, no. I never got a chance to experience that type of thing like that, but to see it gives me the same type of vibe, so I'm good with it. As long as we win in games, that's all that matters to me.
Well, a lot of the players said it was a cool experience, but they said they were glad they had it that one time and that they hoped that maybe it didn't happen again because they had fans like taking their helmets and their gloves and like take the towel, like anything the fan could grab, they would grab it. And I guess, I mean, why blame them? You're already on the field anyways. You've already broken the rules, might as well break some more, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you got to think, it's the first time experience for the fans also. Like, they never been on the field before, and being on the field after a big win with the players and the coaches, like a fan, you can't ask for nothing more like that. So they're going to take full advantage of it.
So since some fans took some things like helmets and different things, what does the university order more? Do you get to keep your own after each game? What happens to you guys' stuff after each game? Like, when do you get to keep your stuff? Ever?
I mean, usually at the end of the season, they give you like a little gift bag with a jersey. Well, at least probably the jersey. Sometimes they do like the authentic jerseys. So you would get that jersey, you get a helmet. And if you want to get an extra helmet, you can actually buy it because of NCAA rules. So they give back to the players at the end of the season, which is good. That's why I love our equipment staff.
Well, I know it was a big deal back when Leonard Fournette was playing for LSU. He had said on camera, hey, I'm going to donate this jersey to go to help. There was some stuff going on in South Carolina, some flooding and different things, and that was kind of a big controversy because apparently he wasn't allowed to just give the jersey off his back and auction it off to raise money. Do you think the NCAA should change their rules on that type of stuff?
I mean, if he's not doing it for his benefit, like, what's the problem with it? He's donating the money to, which he's never going to see the money because it's not going to touch his hands. It's going straight to the state of South Carolina for like a natural disaster, which when Katrina hit, we were in need. All the surrounding areas were in need. So don't hold a player back from his blessing trying to donate and help somebody else when he wants to receive another blessing.
Leonard Fournette was so passionate about LSU when he came here. He's gotten into a few tiffs since he's been in the NFL, but he's been very successful. What do you think about him so far in the NFL and how he's come along?
I mean, his rookie year, he had a great season. Had rushed for over 1,000 yards, and with a team that used to be at the bottom tier, but now they're an elite team in the NFL, which his second year went through a lot of injuries. I know it frustrated him a lot because you're a top guy and you see all your other teammates from other schools and guys that you played with doing great things in the NFL and you're hurt and there's nothing you can do about it. And you're trying to get back on the field to help your team win. And when you do get back on the field, you get another injury. So I know it's frustrating him right now. He just needs to calm down, get back in shape, get refocused, and just play football. Because at the end of the day, football is the same since when you was 5 years old to the NFL.
Well, he needs to calm down a little bit and stop trying to punch people on the field and stuff. So maybe help his case a little bit because we all do love him and he was a star player for us and we're always going to love him, Tiger Nation, definitely. One of the things that I liked about this past year's team is I really felt like there wasn't one particular player that you could say, oh, this is the star of our team. Maybe besides Devin White, because Devin White obviously did a tremendous job. He wanted to be one of the best defensive linemen that LSU has ever had. He really, really wanted to win a national championship or at least get to some type of championship for LSU. Wasn't able to do that, but one of the things that I felt made this past year's team so successful was they didn't really have that star player like a Leonard Fournette or like a Darius Geis. Do you see next year's team having a standout player, or do you kind of see it being a similar team to this past year's team where they still have an extremely successful season without that?
I see it being a similar team, but with more veteran leadership and more guys that have had a winning season and know that they're one step away from being in the college playoffs and competing for a national championship. So I think that we're going to have similar to the team that we had, but more leadership, more experience, more talent, and a coaching staff that's more confident in themselves and a fan base that's more confident in the coaching staff because it all ties in. And you got to understand that everybody hears what's going on and what's being said, and those coaches, they feed off of that. So if you coming in with a positive mindset into the season, going into the first game of the season, like that gives those coaches and players an extra boost. Like, don't downplay them and try and say to throw out a bogus record that you think they're going to have. You have to know that you're going to win in order to win.
I mean, I agree. A lot of people thought going into this season, LSU may not be more than have a 6-6 season, and they had a 10-win season, which actually resulted in Coach O getting a contract extension, which is amazing for him. Let's talk about Coach O's extension. Do you feel like that was the right move for LSU and that he deserved it?
Oh, yes, indeed, he deserves it because you're talking about a coach that came into the season on a hot seat and coming into playing a big-time team at preseason and beginning of the season playing Miami and dominating them, which him getting a contract extension is great for the recruiting process too, because if the recruits don't know if you're going to be here, why would they come here and they don't know if the coach that's recruiting them is going to be here? Because it's all about the coach too, as far as recruiting. Because if Coach Miles would have been on the hot seat, like I would have had thoughts about like, I don't know if I want to go there because this is the coach that was recruiting me. I don't know who the next head coach is going to be, and I don't know how he's going to feel about me because he didn't recruit me. So giving him a contract extension is a big move for LSU, and it was the right thing to do because he earned it.
Well, I mean, some of the players from this past year's team experienced that, having a different coach than the coach recruited them. Coach O being that coach because they were recruited by Miles, which Miles was apparently an amazing recruiter, but a lot of them actually ended up taking it very well. Do you think it's just because of the type of person that Coach O is?
Yeah, and Coach O was actually on the staff when they was there. He was on the staff with those players, so he seen those players come in, and he had some part in recruiting them. So the turnover it made it more easier with the players and the coaches, and for Coach O and those players with the relationship that they had. And he's a straight guy. He's going to shoot you straight. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to give it to you straightforward. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, he's going to tell you, and he's going to tell you the proper way to correct that and to be on the right path.
What do you think that are Coach O's biggest strengths that he has as a coach? Is it recruiting? I mean, what is it about him as a coach that makes him so great?
You're going to get the same exact person every single day, every minute of the day. He's not going to change. He's going to stay amped up, motivated. Coach O could be walking down the street right now. You would think he's going to go coach a football game the way he's amped up. And he treats people genuine, no matter if you play football or fan, not a fan, he's going to treat you the same exact way he treats everybody else. So, and when players see that, they play for more than themselves and more for the and for more than the school. They play for their coach. And when you got a player that plays for the coach, that's something that you can't intimidate. Like, I don't know, because that's how it was with me with Coach Shavers. Like, Coach Shavers told me to run through a brick wall, like I would do it. Like, I would attempt to do it. I would try my best to do it because I knew that he would do it for me if I asked him to do it.
Hey, I mean, I don't know if I would attempt at running through a brick wall, but that's a pretty good analogy right there. I mean, and talk about Coach O being amped up. One of the big stories about him was he's always got an energy drink in his hand, and we always tried to ask players how many energy drinks did they think Coach O actually drank in a day. Do you have any answer to that? Do you know?
I know Coach Miles would drink like 7 cups of coffee, so I could probably see Coach O drinking like 4 energy drinks, which I don't think he needs it at all because he has like a natural boost of energy. So him drinking an energy drink just takes him through the wall.
So he could maybe run through a brick wall.
He's a big guy.
If he had enough energy drinks, he could run through the brick wall. Well, he is a great recruiter, and he's done an amazing job so far. One of the guys that I did want to talk about, Dante Starks, inside linebacker out of John Ehret High School. So he's another Louisiana guy. Talk about a little bit about Dante Starks, what you think he kind of will do for us this season.
I think that he will have an immediate impact, being that he's a young guy, big athletic guy coming from John Ehret, which John Ehret has been a great recruiting pool for us out of Marrero, Louisiana. And the whole West Bank is like a main hub for LSU getting players, because each and every year we're getting a player from out of that school. And one of the former 18s, Lamine Barrow, he was a linebacker, former linebacker from John Ehret High School. So I think that Starks will come in, have an immediate impact, learn. This is actually one of Coach O's favorite recruits. So I think that he's going to have some big things for him.
So Coach O does have a few favorites in the bunch then.
Oh yeah, you know he got to, but he can't say that, but you know who his main guys are. It doesn't matter what star you are. It's just the potential that he sees in you.
All right, I want to talk about another guy, and I know for sure that I'm going to butcher his name because even reading it, I can barely even read it. He's out of Utah, a defensive tackle. Ika is his last name. I'm just going to say his last name. Tell me about the defensive tackle, Ika, out of Utah. You said Coach O traveled all the way up to Utah to find this guy. What is it about him that makes him so special?
Big guy, big athletic guy, can take on double teams, high energy guy, and also this just lets you know that Coach O knows talent. no matter where it's at, he's gonna go get it, he's gonna go search for it, he's gonna go find it, and he's gonna bring it back home. And that's what he did with Ika. And this was one of the biggest recruits that we had coming in this year, a guy that they had a lot of focus on, add more depth and size to the defensive line, because you gotta think, who do we want to beat? Alabama. And what do they have? Big offensive lineman, big defensive lineman. So that's what we have to compete with. So we have to go out and find that and bring that in and then transition those guys to compete and win games, big games against big teams.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you said big, do you mean just like a big get or actually physically big? Because this guy is 372 pounds, and I was actually going to mention, it reminds me of Alabama's line, because their line is huge. Their line looks like NFL-style guys. I mean, they're literally that big. So, I mean, you said it already. I mean, just his size alone, you think is going to be on our side.
Indeed. And having a player like that on the defensive line, that frees up the linebackers, because you're going to have to double team a big guy like that. And that just lets our linebackers roam and make plays. And when you have smaller defensive linemen, most offensive linemen don't have to double team them. So that's an extra guy to block the linebackers. So LSU is doing a great job in scheming, in recruiting, and for their game plan when the season comes.
So some of these guys, I'm sure one of the strategies is maybe for some guys to bulk up. Is that true? Mm-hmm. So in order to bulk up, what do? Do you just go eat 10 cheeseburgers? I mean, what is the strategy to bulk up?
LSU actually has a nutrition coordinator, Lauren, which I know her really well because she texts me stuff that I need to be eating, even that I'm not playing football. She's a good friend of mine. So their nutrition staff is grade A, top of the line. Like, these kids have it made over here at LSU. Like, they have kitchens and smoothie bars all over the place. So they're going to be watching and monitoring what they eat and what they shouldn't and should not be eating. So they're going to be in great shape when the season comes around.
When you're playing, I mean, obviously you have practice days, but do you also have certain workout days that you have to go? Is a coach like, yes, you're going to practice on this day, but you're also, I need you to work out this many days a week. Is that something that happens?
I mean, usually all the players have the same workout schedule, but with some of them, players that are overweight and players that they want to gain weight and bulk up, they'll have something extra for them to do extra, like come in an extra hour early or stay an extra hour late in order to get that extra work in, or have them a special meal plan, a meal prep, in order to get them to be the player that they want them to be.
Okay, well, I want the nutritionist, I want the meal prep, I want the workout gym, the smoothie bar. I want all of that just for myself. So there's a lot of benefits to being an LSU athlete then, right?
Oh yeah, they roll the red carpet out for them.
Okay, look, we do have to take a quick break. We are here at Scoreboards. The address is 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It's right off Coursey and Airline. There's a lot of people in here right now, so this is definitely the spot to come and eat, watch the games. They've got TV shows that are here as well, including mine. Mine's every single Tuesday, so come out and check my show out. I would love for you to come watch it. Look, you can also catch it on YouTube if you're not able to catch it there at home. YouTube at Sports Update with Kate. But Scoreboards, it's the name of the place. It's where we shoot the show, and they've also got a ton of great food. I'm going to give you the address one more time. It's 10655 Coursey Boulevard, a TV in literally every single corner. So you got to come out, try the food, watch some games, and bring some friends. We do need to take a quick break, but we will be right back.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you.
Hey guys, it's Debbie Traylor of Debbie's Bridal. I'm back. We're bringing Debbie's to you. Prom, pageant, Mardi Gras, and formals. One time only this weekend in Gonzales, February 16th and 17th at the La Quinta Inn on South Cabela's Parkway. Standing room only. Check our website, debbiesbridal.net, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Or call Debbie's Bridal for more information.
Look, your dad gave me his baby to go pick up your brother from the airport.
Oh, honey, just take Mom's car. She just had navigation installed.
I totally got this. We were just there.
Hey, isn't that...
Yep. We'll program the airport in, just in case.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Welcome back to Sports Update with Kate. I am your host, Kate Adams. We've got a former LSU safety and former number 18, also former San Diego Charger, Brandon Taylor. Thanks for being with us again. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this new league. There's a lot of buzz about this, the American Alliance Football League. It's something new. Their rules are a little different than the NFL. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I mean, I love it. I watched the game the other night and seeing a bunch of former LSU Tigers playing, I mean, it just gives those guys another opportunity to present themselves to the NFL, get film, get the playing experience, and just play the game that you love in front of your loved ones, and also get to be on TV while playing. So,
well, I mean, exactly. It does give players that may not be as well-known players get a chance to play in front of viewers, to play in front, and those viewers could be some NFL coaches and that sort of thing. So do you think this league is kind of another step, kind of like the Canadian Football League, where, okay, you might have been out of the game for a little bit, or you might have been injured, or something may have happened to where you had to get out of the NFL, that gives players a real opportunity to have another shot?
Oh yeah, it gives you another opportunity to get back into football pre-NFL, which this is the perfect time to be playing, because right now the NFL is over, so we're getting football year round in the United States. So you don't have to go to Canada, you don't have to go, which they used to have the European Football League. You have it right here, and those NFL coaches and staffs have full access to these players. So it's a great opportunity for all those guys.
Well, one guy that we are familiar with who just started playing for the American Alliance Football League, Jamarcus Russell, signed with the Memphis Express. So what do you think about Jamarcus getting back in the game? He's a little old, huh?
I mean, he is in age, but he's playing quarterback, so you got to think Tom Brady's 40 years old, still winning Super Bowls. But it's good to see him get to go back out there and play the sport that he loves. He can have some type of closure in his life and in his career, and gives his chance, his opportunities for former, for LSU fans who watched him growing up playing at LSU, to get to watch him play again and play football again. So, I mean, I miss watching him sling the field.
I'm not going to lie, I missed him too. He was one of my favorite LSU quarterbacks that we ever had. He could throw that ball further than anyone I've ever seen. He's also from my hometown, which I love. You know, it made me love him even more. I remember when I was a little kid just sitting in front of the TV watching him sling that thing all the way down the field. And so I think that's great that he's getting another start. You know, he had a little trouble after the NFL, you know, financially and that sort of thing. So let's hope that this is kind of just another step that'll help him get him back on his feet. Recently, he was actually coaching again for the high school, Williamson High School in Mobile. But I'm glad that he was able to make this step and join the American Alliance Football League. I mean, do you think it's going to lead to anything? Maybe lead to him going back to the NFL?
I mean, if he does good enough and gets himself back into shape to play football, it could open up an opportunity. I mean, you just can't go into situations closed-minded. You have to look at the bigger picture and have to have a goal in mind in order to do something, which I think he has a goal in mind to try and get back into the NFL.
One of the things that the American Alliance Football League has that I really, really wish that the NFL had It's what's called a sky judge. And this judge's job is to review plays for any incorrect or missed calls. And if we would have had a sky judge in the NFC Championship, I guarantee you that the Saints would have been in the Super Bowl. But we don't. So what is it, why can't the NFL get this right? What the American Alliance Football League has a sky judge. Do you think that the NFL is going to get a sky judge?
Well, I think in the future that it would happen, being all the backlash that the NFL got with the Saints game, which is totally unacceptable. Which this is a $1 billion industry. Like, it should not be any type of mistakes like that.
I agree. I just was rolling my eyes because I'm still very angry about it. Actually, our governor, John Bel Edwards, wrote a letter to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell expressing all of his thoughts about the no call in the NFC Championship. This is what Roger Goodell said back. He said, "I fully understand your personal disappointment and the disappointment and frustration of Saints fans throughout the country." I feel like when Roger Goodell speaks, it's just like he just says blah, 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 blah. It's like nothing he says means anything. He's not genuine. He's probably one of the most hated men in the country. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're looking at a guy that makes $25 million a year, and you can't come and correct a mistake like that. Like, he ran from those questions for like 3 weeks up into the Super Bowl. Like, he didn't answer anybody until the week of the Super Bowl. And, like, that's unprofessional. Like, you're paid to do a job, and you're paid a lot of money to do a job, which all you're doing is answering questions and disciplining people. Like, he should be held accountable for his actions, in which he did not handle the situation professionally at all.
Well, yeah, he definitely should. He did say he was excited for the Super Bowl that's going to be hosted in New Orleans in 2024. It actually will be the 11th time the Super Bowl will be played in New Orleans, which is the most in any city. No other city has had the Super Bowl played there that many times. So I'm glad Roger Goodell's excited about that. But let's put him somewhere, where all the fans are harassing him or something, since of what he did to us and crushing our dreams of going to the Super Bowl. American Alliance Football League, it is something that I am really, really excited about. I think other fans, even though these are going to be teams that we really don't know that much about, are going to get really excited. But thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on, talking some LSU football, kind of going over some of the recruits. You think we're going to have a good year next season for the Tigers?
Oh, I don't have a doubt in my mind about it. I think we're going to have a great year.
All right, it better be our year, because at some point we've got to beat Alabama. Clemson did it, and if they can do it, I think that we can do it as well. I want to say thank you to my producer, Caleb St. Germain. Thank you, Marty Campbell. Thank you, Brandon Taylor, for being on here, and thank you everyone for coming out and watching. Remember, catch the show on Tuesdays. If you don't get it on TV, catch it on YouTube at Sports Update with Kate. We will see you next week.